Okay, let's try to make a video on making pasta. I've been working on this. Decided I might as well just continue and do it. This is 8 ounces of all-purpose flour. The recipe calls for 1 pound of flour and 5 eggs. So how do you do 2.5 eggs? I figure I'll use quail eggs. One of these is about 5 of these. So how do you do with half of that? Well, I'll just go, a little more egg. I can't find my cigar cutter, or else I'd cut these eggs with it. Because you cut open a quail egg. See? You gotta kind of cut them. And you end up with shell. Here, let's use a bowl to catch my eggs and make sure they're somewhat clean. Because quail egg, you kind of have to rip it open. They don't crack very easy. I just use a knife, kind of crack it, stick the blade in it, and it cut the membrane enough to where I can get my fingers in and pull apart. It's something you got to do a few times to where you get good at not ending up with eggshell in the egg. Because the eggs, the colored stuff is kind of just painted on. It's camouflage that the quail hen kind of puts on it as she lays it. That's pretty interesting. They're kind of painted eggs. Something in there, I don't know. A chicken egg is easy to crack. You just crack it. So we've got our 2.5 eggs. Half an egg is kind of a tricky thing. How do you do it? Now you round it off, I guess. So there we go. Put that in. I'll get rid of the bowl. I'll use a fork or something. I need to get a little more flour so I can get some on my hands. I have to cut in front of the camera. Excuse me for doing that. But the flour bin is over here. Got an antique Sellers kitchen cabinet. It's about 115 years old. It has a flour bin, and I keep flour in it. It holds a lot. You gotta put some on your hands, because your hands will be anything. You need your hands good and dry when you start making dough. And this is dough for noodles. And eventually you dive in and start mixing it with your hands. Because it is kind of like water and flour, except it's eggs and flour. That's how you make noodles. Pasta shortage. As long as I got eggs, then I can make this. That's why I haven't messed around and got chickens and quail too, just so that I can make homemade pasta, which is, at first I was like, yeah, whatever, when we made pasta, but it is excellent. It's more tender and it's fresh. It cooks fast, and plus you know everything that's in it. You start reading the ingredients on stuff, and it's like, dang, are they trying to kill us with all this weird stuff they put in and everything? In some cases, I think so. All this GMO stuff ain't good for you. hard for your body to digest it because we're not set up for that. It's weird science. That's just my opinion. I don't know if it's for real or not. But hey, I took science classes, and the whole nutrition thing is just weird how they figure that out and burn the food and see how much calories it gives off, and then assume that your digestive system is just like a fire and works the same way. Does that make sense? Not really. Yet that's how the nutritionist figures out calories. Calories is a unit of energy, so they have to measure the energy in food. They do it by burning it. So I told you originally to just dive in with your hands and start mushing and mashing. That's why you need your hands getting dry so it doesn't all stick right off the bat. You're going to get some sticking because you're touching wet and you're kind of folding and pushing, getting this to all the bind with them eggs. It's just like playing patty cake in a bowl. It's not that hard. You can do it. Children can do this. My grandson helps. It's fun food to make in your own kitchen and everything. We're gonna do it all the way. It takes time. This will be an awfully long video, I'm sorry. But it takes time to make pasta. Most of the pasta videos I've seen didn't really show anything but the rolling it out part. The making the dough takes some time because you're pushing and folding and just kind of getting it all into a ball. And if you use a whole pound of flour, it makes a lot bigger of an amount. But we don't need that much because it's just my wife and I. This is enough for probably 2 meals worth of pasta. And I'll show that too. I think probably I'll break this up into more than one video so you can understand what exactly I do. I can do it faster, but I need a little rest with my hands at this point, I think. And what I'll do is take this dough and put it in a baggie and just let it kind of rest and relax and soak in that moisture, because no matter how much I mix, it's still got some more mixing to do and some more moisture to absorb, etc. Some of it absorbs into me and some of me absorbs into it too, because you know, you get the stuff on your hands and hey, why waste it? So what, it's got a little of my skin on it. I washed my hands, I promise, I did. Quail are in there chirping. Okay. Now I think the Italian chef or whatever would take this, put it in a bag, and refrigerate it for some hours. If I were smart, I'd probably, it's 10 o'clock in the morning, I could leave it in the refrigerator until say 2, and then roll out noodles, or maybe even leave it till 4 when my wife gets home, and then roll out noodles. But that'd be a little boring. Let's just let it sit for maybe an hour or so. It doesn't take that long. You don't have to even let it set at all. You can just go right to the roller. The roller mixes it up as it goes too. This is the roller. Let's get the handle. Here's the handle. Crank it like that. Let's see if we can even see. Yeah. Okay. Done with the eggs. let's just take a break and clean this up and then do the actual noodles later for part 2. There's Millard. He likes noodles too.